Hello there everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's Amiibo here, and today we're doing another Nintendo Switch 2 unboxing, this time for the highly anticipated release of Cyberpunk 2077 Ultimate Edition. We're going to open up the game and play a bit in handheld and do some first impressions of the Nintendo Switch 2 version. So if you are new here and you enjoy videos like this, I would appreciate you liking the video and subscribing. Let's get into it. Alrighty folks, here we are with, I think, probably the most popular third-party game on the platform, especially if you are a physical collector, as this is certainly the highest profile non-Nintendo release that is actually on the cartridge. There should not be a download required to play this game on Nintendo Switch 2. It's all on the cartridge. CD Projekt Red paid up for that 64 gig card to get this game on Nintendo Switch 2, which is certainly a great thing. I've also heard that there might be some extra goodies on the inside of this as well. So certainly the highest quality third-party release on the platform if you are a physical collector. It is not a game key card, which is great to see. And also just talking generally about Cyberpunk on Switch 2, from what we've seen pre-release, it looks like CD Projekt Red put so much love and care into this version, supporting all of the different little features of the Switch 2, be that gyro controls, be that mouse controls, be that the touchscreen. Like, they really went all in on optimizing this for Switch 2, but also taking advantage of its unique control method. So shout out to them for that, and shout out to them for what I hope will end up being a great physical release as we unbox it. So here we have the front of the box here. You got Keanu Reeves, Idris Elba, as well as the other characters on the front here. This is the Ultimate Edition that includes the Phantom Liberty expansion for the game that I've heard nothing but good things about. It's been crazy to see the turnaround on Cyberpunk after its 2020 launch on PS4, where it had a lot of issues, and now here we are, and it's like the most praised it's like the most praised game ever. So there's the front of the box. Here we have the spine, all yellow with a black text here, Cyberpunk 2077 Ultimate Edition, CD Projekt Red developer logo down there. Here we have the back of the box. It says, "Your legend starts here. Cyberpunk 2077 is an open world action adventure RPG set in Night City, a megalopolis obsessed with power, glamour, and body modification. Play as V, a cyberpunk mercenary, and take on the most powerful forces of the city in a fight for glory and survival. In the Ultimate Edition, experience the original Cyberpunk 2077 story, as well as a new spy thriller adventure in the Phantom Liberty expansion, a high-stakes tale of espionage set in the deadly district of Dogtown. Legends will be made here. What will yours be?" Of course, compatible accessories. It's going to support that Switch 2 Pro Controller and a Nintendo Switch Joy-Con and Switch 1 Pro Controllers. Actually, I haven't noticed that before. I like that it says it supports the Switch 1 Joy-Con and Pro Controller there as well. So not too shabby. Let's go ahead and crack this thing open and see what we have on the inside here. This game also talking about how great of a job CD Projekt Red is doing with this release. I think it already did this on PlayStation to PC and everything, but there is cross-save between all platforms. I actually played a little bit on PS5 to get ready for this video, and you can play it on PS5. You have your save there, and then you can just transfer it using, I think it's your GOG account. That'll just transfer over to the Switch 2 version. So if you want to have a bit of a multi-platform experience with this game, you certainly can do that. Play it on PS5 for the, high fidelity experience. Play it on Switch 2 for the on-the-go experience. Once again, front of the box, spine, back of the box. Okay, so it looks like we have some stickers as well as maybe a couple other things. We'll take a look at that in just a second. Here we have the Cyberpunk 2077 game card on Nintendo Switch 2, which should contain all of the data, although I think there might be a day one patch. I'm not positive on that. I saw one post about that. So there is the game cartridge. And then, yeah, we have some goodies inside. First up, we have some stickers of V, as well as that character. Some logo stickers, Cyberpunk sticker, Samurai, as well as this like Oni demon thing as a little thing there, just a little booklet. Yeah, I don't know why it's like they could have made two separate sheets, or just, I don't know, that's weird. But yeah, there's some stickers included here, and then I like this little note that they included. Yeah, I saw someone post about this. It says, "Your legend starts here. Welcome to the City of Dreams, now with one more mercenary blazing a path to glory, you. We're grateful to have you on board, and to say thank you, we prepared free in-game goodies like new cars to drive, Preem threads to wear, and much more, all available in Night City via automatic game updates. Want even more swag? Flip this card over to learn about my rewards. We'll see you out there. The big leagues are calling." And if you flip it over, oh, there's like a little advertisement for some digital goodies, some skins, a weapon skin, a hoodie it looks like. You scan that, you can download those goodies if you link your account and everything, I guess. Probably don't care enough to do that personally, but nice to have a little message in there, nice to include some stickers. No alternate art or anything. I feel like that would have been an easy win because this isn't the original art for this game. They could have just done the original box art as a reversible for the Switch 2 version, but that's fine. Not a bad physical release at all from CD Projekt Red in terms of what's inside. This is definitely some of the most effort we've seen just because they're actually, they're including some stickers. I would say this is definitely up there with like Rune Factory and that, how it included that little guidebook or even the little booklet that came with Sonic Shadow Generations. But let's go ahead and pop this cartridge into our Switch 2 and see if there is any sort of update, because I think there is, but we'll see. I'm going to take out Hitman here, was just playing that a little bit earlier for another video that's already up on the channel. Definitely go give that a watch if you're curious about Hitman. But let's go ahead and pop Cyberpunk in here. There is the icon, and let's see. There is a day one update. So once again, even this game that's been marketed as like this game is on the cartridge, there is an update. Now, worth noting, you can start it. You can start the game. However, you're going to want to update it anyway. I guess the great thing about that is it's a big file, and most of that file is not going to be on your Switch SD card or your Switch internal storage, right? It's just going to be on the cartridge, so you don't have to take up that much space. There's going to be a bit of an update that will take up some space, but the actual game itself is on the cartridge, so you don't have to worry about your Switch 2 storage running out already. So not too bad there, although it is a little funny that there's a day one update at all. I'm curious how big of an update this actually is. Let's take a look here. Okay, yeah, looking into my storage here, it looks like there is a 2.4 gig download for this game if you pop the cartridge in. Much better than having to download a 64 gig game, but there is still a download. Be warned of that when you pick up this release. With that said, I'm going to let the update download, then I'm going to go play a little bit in docked as well as handheld and give you my impressions of Cyberpunk on Nintendo Switch 2. Let's get into it. Okay, I just got done playing the game in both handheld and docked for a little bit, tested out the unique control methods, including the mouse sensor, a little bit of gyro here as well for aiming. Similar to Splatoon, if you play Splatoon, you can aim like that in this game, kind of shaking the right Joy-Con. And I have to say, as someone who has not put too much time into Cyberpunk in the past, this is maybe the most impressive port I've played so far. So as far as I can tell, it's running at 40 FPS, which is a nice in-between from 30 and 60, of course. 60 would be preferred, but it looks like it's running at 40 FPS. However, the visual fidelity on Switch 2, especially with the Switch 2 display, it looks really nice playing it in handheld mode. It's still weird seeing a game that looks this good running on the Switch 2. And even when you play in docked, I mean, you're going to notice that frame rate a little bit more depending on if your TV has VRR or not. But still, the fact that CD Projekt Red got the game running so well on what is still essentially just a tablet is really impressive. If you want to play Cyberpunk at the highest fidelity, you're going to buy it on PC or maybe on PS5 Pro or Series X. You're going to play it on one of those platforms. But if you want a handheld experience, a handheld way to play Cyberpunk and to have all of these extra features like mouse controls, but also you can play it with the Switch 2 Pro controller, this is a fantastic port. They did a really good job with this version from what I've seen so far. And yeah, I mean, Cyberpunk originally was a PS4 game, so is it that impressive that they got a PS4 game running on Switch 2? That inherently, no, it isn't. However, Cyberpunk on PS4 runs like absolute garbage and was a broken mess. I think it's not quite as broken anymore, but still, it certainly runs worse than this does. This is a much more polished version of that, and also the PS4 and Xbox One versions never got the Phantom Liberty expansion. That is only on the next-gen consoles, as well as Switch 2 now. You all know me if you've been watching these videos. I love me some mouse controls, and just messing around very briefly with the mouse aiming, doing some random gunfights. Also, I was shooting some civilians, I think. Just having the option to switch quickly between a Pro controller to using gyro controls like you would see in Splatoon, to putting the Joy-Con down flat on a surface and swapping to the mouse controls, the flexibility here in how you play the game is so vast and so cool, and I'm so happy that CD Projekt Red took advantage of all of the unique things that make the Nintendo Switch to the Nintendo Switch 2. You can also use the touchscreen to kind of zoom in and click on different things in the menu. I mean, they really took advantage of the hardware and tried to make this a great version of the game for Nintendo players, and from what I can tell from the little bit I played, I mean, I think they did a fantastic job, and I'm excited to play more. I typically don't play too many like Western RPGs, you know, your Bethesda games, your Witcher, that kind of thing. However, I do love me a good FPS, and just running around, I did some of the Phantom Liberty expansion. I was like, I had this moment of realization that beyond all of the stat points allocating and RPG stuff that is in the game for people that want that experience, There is also a bit of that kind of more basic Ubisoft gameplay. Correct me if I'm wrong, but from the little bit I was playing, it looks like you can kind of just go around this map at your own pace, taking down, I don't know if they're outposts necessarily or just rival gangs or whatever, but I might enjoy this game if I play it more like a Ubisoft game. Of course, there are those RPG elements and dialogue choices and stuff. That's the stuff that I typically not love too much, specifically like the dialogue options in games like this. That's not really for me, but at its core, I do think at a very base level, I will very much enjoy running around and just kind of clearing out the map, that kind of thing, because I like first-person shooters, and there's now one on Switch 2 that you can play with the freaking mouse controls, and that is awesome. I probably said something blasphemous there about not liking dialogue choices and too much stat allocation, especially because I do like RPGs. I don't know, something about Western RPGs usually I'm not too into, but from what I played of this, I am definitely interested to check out more. I like the 3 different like starting things you do, where they put you at different like starting points in the world, actually, because I was playing it on PS5 and I did like I can't remember what it was called, the tech person, but then on here I started playing as the nomad, and they're completely different starting points. I like that. That's a nice way to separate the game and kind of have you doing more playthroughs for the people that really want to get their time out of this game. But overall, this is a great port and an easy recommendation if you are a physical collector, or if you just want a high quality, third party, open world, next gen feeling game on Nintendo Switch 2, something that truly would not have been possible on the Switch 1. I really hope that CD Projekt Red goes back and patches Witcher 3. That game already ran on Switch 1, but you know what? Let's get a Switch 2 native patch. I think that has to be in the pipeline, hopefully in the near future. But as always, let me know your thoughts on Cyberpunk 2077 for the Switch 2 in the comments down below. Have you already picked it up, or are you planning on picking it up? And if so, what do you think of the game? I would love to hear your thoughts down there. Of course, subscribe here for more Nintendo Switch 2 unboxings. Follow me on Twitter at BoTalksGames. Check out my Nintendo news channel at BoTalksGames as well. And click on one of the 2 videos on screen to listen to me ramble about even more Nintendo Switch 2 stuff. Until next time, folks. Peace.